All right. This is another base tour of a factory that I built. My friend is here this time because he helped build it. This is StaTech Industry.
Uh,
Uh, yeah, yeah. You can introduce yourself, I guess.
yeah, I'd say I did most of the automation. He did most of the building.
Yeah. So right now we're in the. We moved to a different base later, but we're starting here at the old base because it still is technically functional and feeds into the storage system, I believe. This is a
There's like a
plantation.
few things over
Yeah.
here.
This is these are just like some plantation of uh spectrum colored trees because I needed them for doing that mod. This is a simple farming area, including the egg-laying woolly pig from Spectrum. This is a simple farm for jade vines for another Spectrum crop that only grows in moonlight, so they have a daylight detector based piston opens up in moonlight and then closes during the day because if they're exposed to daylight they get destroyed. More farms. Here we come to the actual base. This is the fusion shrine. And then in here, oh yeah, this is the pigment pedestal thing. The a basic magic area, enchantment setup, cinder hearth, and spirit instiller. Back here is where I keep my chud sons that I hate. Incredible work. As I said, back here is the chud sons that I hate. The kindlings. All right, and then down these stairs is some toxic reeds, a mermaid gem farm, or no mermaids brush farm, and then a basic villager, not breeding pen because that sounds unethical. You know, low income housing for um, traditionally underserved communities. And then over here is the employment center for the underserved community where they are employed to work. And then this is the a bunch of color pickers, one per each die. They each have a ton of each color of ink in them for magic stuff. Because I can put the palette in there to stock up. And then down here is where the actual technology starts. So I guess we'll start with whatever this setup over here is.
So this is kind of where it all started. This is where we had our very old or processing setup and some of the very early create stuff. Uh, Before we unlocked AE2, we were using Tom storage. That's what these lines here are. As we come down into the main factory, there's some more stuff going on. Uh, Most of this is superfluous except for the oil drill here, and even then we've replaced that with something in the void world. Let me see. This is one of my first experiments with automating the pack, which was to have a bunch of pattern providers on individual machines. But I quickly found out that it's a lot faster to automate machines so that they only do one recipe at a time, uh, because they build up overclock and produce that recipe faster. Another old ore processing setup. Uh, I guess this one's just ore macerators. This is a lot of like I guess mid-game medals that I've automated over here. This was the start of this style of automation where we have a single one block being controlled by a redstone signal that's tied to like the amount of item in the system. Same thing over here and back here. There's not a lot going on. Oh, uh, one thing we do have to talk about is high pressure steam.
Hmm.
Our power loop, we burn uh, nuclear fuel and coal coke to make high pressure steam, which then we throw through heat exchangers to make regular steam and to reclaim some of the energy it took to make the high pressure water to make the high pressure steam by turning it back into high pressure water. We've got arrays of this in the void world.
Nice. I think that's all in this area, in this side of the factory. We also have another wing over this way.
Oh yes, this is actually where all of our, again, I mean, again, it's been superseded by the void, but for a while, this is where all of our oil processing was done.
Yeah. And then this was a basic bulk washing, or say basic, a a max speed bulk washing setup here, and then this is the end portal that I stole because you can steal it with Spectrum. I think that's about everything in this world. So we can return to the front of the base.
Overworld, yeah.
Oh, I guess there is technically a little bit more if we go up here. This is the. I think this is like partially an old crystal growth chamber room.
This main thing was for I think there was
It's like aluminum,
and
and
then I
stainless
believe
steel.
this one is stainless steel. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, yep. And then it's an old quarry. A lot of this has sort of gone offline as we've moved away from the overworld.
Yeah. And this is the old A2 area before we switched it and moved the A2 core into the Void World.
Yeah.
I think these are technically still active, though.
Yes, they're connected. There are a few things that are required over here.
And then this is a fusion try that I tried and that I used to have turned on to make it rain forever, but then because of the way chunk loading works and interacts with the fusion shrine, it didn't really work like I had intended once we were in the Void World. I think that's it.
Sucks because it's a nice vibe in the Void World when it rains.
Yeah. Let's see. And I think over here is the over here is just a wall of trophies, mostly just stuff from the Twilight Forest. So there is the boss heads, and then the book you get at the end of Spectrum, as well as the mysterious compass you get at the end of Spectrum. All right, now I guess we can move into the Void World.
All right.
Yeah. So this pack has. Oh, go on.
I say about halfway through the pack, we realized that it was taking a lot of time to dig out space to make like new machines. So we moved into the Void World to build platform bases, or to build a platform base.
Yeah. Initially, it was just the stone platform area.
Yeah, we've got create stuff over here. It's not really doing much right now. It's mostly just to make other create stuff, and then also it's crushing some sand and gravel. Here's some of our mid-game power generation. This was quickly once we got established, it was quickly taken over by nuclear power, but the advanced boilers really held their own. As we come into sort of the factory proper, let's see, battery alloy. Everything is set to keep a certain amount of an item in stock in the system. And the idea is that we have enough in stock so that once it goes below the value, we have enough of the item to get consumed while the machines build overclock. Down here, everything is run in kind of LV. Uh, Everything's powered wirelessly by wireless block chargers, so it's like each machine gets its own individual LV connection because it can take up to 256 EU per tick, 8,000 in total on the HV line.
Yeah, and this was your method of setting up these machines here. I developed a different method as I like sort of got more of the automation
Yeah,
side. Because for a lot of the early portions of the pack, I
yeah,
mostly did Spectrum and did most of the exploring while you handled the automation.
yeah. We definitely figured out that building towers was more space efficient than splaying it out, but it's kind of how it started.
Yeah. And I believe the best, all of these platform supports. This whole build is based on an oil rig, and like so, all these platform supports also include a ladder that goes up to the up main platform. Oh, and they all of course have a little balcony area here. Yeah, cause I saw a picture of like an oil rig someone built online, and I was like, oh, I want to build a base based off that. I don't remember if all of these have portholes up to the surface, or it's just no. This one does not.
You know, there's some of them that don't.
Ah, yes. Okay. Now, right now we're underneath one of the platforms on top of the platform base. And why is this not like that? What the fuck? There we go. Alright. Here we are. This is the brain of the base, so to speak. This is the A2 core.
Uh, so the way that we've got this set up is what we like to do is like uh, have PDP channels, so that way it's easier to move the controller faces away from the controller. However, I think if we were going to redo the AU2 core, we probably wouldn't have a centralized core, but instead sort of have a distributed recursive network. Because one like this one network gets too big, it takes a very long time for the network to reboot. And when you've got things like the heat exchangers connected to the network that require a constant flow of steam and water, long network reboots can really put a hamper on how much steam you're making.
Yeah. So I believe part of the issue is these faces can provide, I think, more channels than they do in vanilla. So you end up with 64 channels on dense smart cables instead of 32. So it
Yeah,
takes
it's
a long
64 per
time.
controller face.
Yeah. Because this whole thing is basically just a Menger sponge of A2 controllers, and then those get fed down into a subnet controller, which then you put the P2P tunnels on these cables running out through the base, and then those link it back to this. And then,
You can actually, if you come out here, see the cables running on the ground
yeah, if you go, yeah,
around the base.
yeah, underneath there's a bunch of, there's 12 cables running in the four cardinal directions, or each of the four cardinal directions. They all go out, delivering the, the channely goodness. Yeah, this is just a bunch of ME drives. This was a production monitoring
We're actually
area.
nearing, we're nearly full.
Yeah, one of them is nearly full, I believe. And one of them was full, but then I switched a couple things over. Yeah, so, and then this over here used to be a production management area where it would show various important items and how much there was of each one. But then you figured out how to turn that into an actual website that can be visited outside the server, I believe.
Yeah. So we figured out, or I guess I figured out that using a TCC bridge, I can send data about the AET system back to a database on my home lab in FluxDB, and then we got a uh, like Grafana front end to visualize that data. It's very helpful for finding like bottlenecks and stuff because you can each dashboard can link to or each panel can link to other dashboards, so you can create a chain of items to follow.
Yeah. And these are just boilers that were used for power production here, and this is a turbine, I think.
Yeah, this was when I was really shitting bricks during the nuclear transition because we weren't producing enough high pressure steam.
Yeah. And then this sort of central base got more and more built up over time. Initially, I wired it up with power and A2 cables in anticipation of of like putting more stuff here, but we ended up spreading things out a little bit more. And then
Yeah,
so
did you feel right to put anything in the core room really?
yeah, oh, except for this nuclear reactor.
Yeah.
And if you go up another level, it was just like foot access for the A2 core. Uh, and then up beyond that is the fusion reactors. Just kind of
So
hovering
this is
above.
very late game stuff. This is like you start out the final chapter by making a fusion reactor. We've got three of them. Two of them are turning tritium and deuterium into helium plasma, and then one of these is making neutronium, which is like combining helium plasma and deuterium.
And then we have, I think, what is this? 12, 24,
Uh,
48.
we've
Um,
got
like
Yeah, we got
plasma
48
turbines.
of or 48 plasma turbines feeding the nuclear reactor, or it's
Yeah.
the fusion reactor.
Yeah, and then there's just a beacon I put
It
in the center because it felt like it made sense.
Yeah, the fusion takes a fuck ton of power, but it is slightly like positive. So it's as long as you can power the fusion reactor, you can siphon off some power off the top.
Yeah. All right, and then I guess out here down the on the main factory base, we can start with probably this shed here. This was the first production platform, and this was all I guess mostly your work.
Uh, yeah. So this started back before we even unlocked the large steam turbine, and I was still using the high HV turbine stacks. Uh, but anyways, we figured out that the most efficient way to pack these machines together was to place them around a single central interface and have them export into the interface, and then just kind of build them upwards. That way you have four per layer, and then that only takes five channels per layer. Uh, Coming back this way, we've got our this is probably the most enduring uh, or processing setup. It's still kind of relevant even now, although I believe just made a new one.
Yeah.
Coming back here, this is moving on in the game. The pink side's a lot of nuclear stuff, so making LE nuclear rods, LE nuclear fuel rods, centrifuging depleted fuel rods. And then the stuff over here is there's some tech reborn stuff, and then the stack is more for superconductor cables specifically, and the mass of vacuum freezers are used to make cryofluid.
And there's a second floor to this, I believe, that you added.
Yes, there is. Up here we've got just a casual nuclear reactor, and then some walls of machines. This was a I built this much later on, so this has a lot of quantum machinery in it. That's like making late game stuff. As we progressed in the pack, that 256 EU per tick per machine started significantly hampering our like how fast we can produce items. So instead, we started using uh, like just wiring it up normally.
Okay, we're back. All right. So yeah, is that everything on this in this floor?
This is actually
Oh, good, gone. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I mean, this is we can see here some like what I meant by recursive networking because like this was made because the main network was taking too long to reboot. So this just can see the main network through a here it is through a storage bus, but it acts as its own thing. So when this network reboots, it doesn't affect the main network. Then this is how a lot of the stuff is set up further down in the factory.
Yeah. Yeah, so this was the first, I believe this was the first building shell and the first production platform that was made.
Yeah.
Let's see. I guess we'll
We've
go.
got quarries over here. They're juiced to shit, but that's about it.
Yeah. I guess we'll go move over right away to this platform here. This was just for, there's a couple, like, pattern providers here for various crafting recipes. I don't know why this one's filled with wheat seeds. And then this is for just like you can't see it through here, but behind this this wall is a big row of I think these are distillery towers. There's one, two, no wait, 2, 4, 6, 8, 16 of them in a row here, and they're all just managed by wires underneath the platforms, because my idea for this thing was to have a big like base platform. That's what is made of asphalt, and on top of that there are platforms positioned a few blocks above to allow room to run cables underneath it, because I think it looks much neater to have cables running underneath the floor as opposed to over it, though some may disagree.
That would be me.
Yeah.
I personally think that it's much easier to see where things are going when the cables are visible, especially when you're trying to check how many channels you've taken up.
Yeah. But here's the, I personally think aesthetics are the most important part of any construction. So, you know, swag overall, of course. On top of here are some farming stacks. These are making potatoes, and these we're turning those potatoes into biofuel. Though obviously that's mostly stopped now because the biodiesel. Actually, no, it was made for plant oil, and the plant oil went into biodiesel production because the biodiesel production was being used to power some parts of the factory. I guess because there's not much over here, we'll sweep around the back here. These are just some solar panels that are powering directly into the AE2 system. This is an unused.
The idea with these was that
go on.
We had some issues earlier on where like the AE2 core briefly ran out of power, and then since it takes so long to reboot, um, it would actually kind of deadlock the factory. So that's what this is intended to fix. It's feeding directly into the AE2 system.
Yeah. This was an unused.
And it was very hard to get the factory restarted from the deadlock state.
Yeah, that was not fun. I did not
I
enjoy it.
understand.
This was an unused section for another for another solar panel that I never used. Back here is just some steam tanks for just to have a reserve if we ever ran out. I guess we'll move right to this platform. This is on this bottom level we have mob grinders for various items, just mostly livestock. Up here is a platform for, I believe, oil, air pressurization. Uh,
Um,
oh, go on.
I kind of put whatever here. Uh,
Yeah,
we've got two things making liquid air for the cryo fuel, and then yeah, oil right here.
yeah. And this is hydrochloric acid all the way around. This is just, more mining drills. And these are just what's powering this platform, just two steam turbines. And the next floor up here, we have just, I believe this was making. Oh, yes, styrene butadiene rubber. Just the whole production chain here was just all slapped down. So, just because I think we need styrene butadiene rubber to help make more cables, because that was the bottleneck there.
Cables.
Down here,
The circuit boards each take a type of cable,
yeah,
and you need a ton of circuit boards.
yeah. Down here is a quad array of the various bulk processes in Create, so bulk smoking, bulk blasting, bulk washing, and bulk haunting. This is a design that I went to a creative world and built, and then it's all self-sufficient by just enough stress units from some water wheels here. And that's, and then I just left that open in the air because it didn't make sense to build over the chimneys.
Yeah.
And this platform here is the secondary shed. This was built from the ground up by me, and then we put more stuff into it, and it was wired in HV initially. That we did switch some stuff to superconductors, I think.
I think initially it was wired in EV, and then what we did is the very start we stepped it down to HV because EV cables are really hard to come by.
Oh yeah.
But once we got some of the other parts of the factory figured out, that stopped being an issue.
Yeah. Yeah, so this was the design for machine stacks that I came up with and started using. It's just essential, like before, a central spine of ME interfaces, and then one cable every two blocks that sticks out with ME level emitters, and then one spine going up this way with the export buses and storage monitors, and then the other side for powering them with the cable.
I had a friend tell me this kind of reminds me of a data center.
Oh yeah.
One thing I especially like about this design are the storage monitors. Makes it a lot easier to run through the factory and see what's what.
Yeah. So let's see. There's a lot of. Yeah, once we started adding to it, but I think initially it was all to start making. Yeah, here it is. Digital circuits back here. The amazing digital circuit.
Circuits.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and then back here, I think there's some other stuff going on. I think just some heat exchangers for the hot chromium ingots and for the hot enderium ingots. These are three not plasma. These are three high HV large. What are they called? Large steam turbines that power the.
Yeah,
That used to power
HV
the
large
shed.
steam turbine, not HV, but they're just large steam turbines. They produce up to 16,000 EU per tick. We have moved away from these and instead are using plasma turbines now.
Yeah.
If we go underneath here, we can actually see that it's hooked up to the superconductor network.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think there's some other stuff here. So we have more cryo fluid, steel, stainless steel, aluminum, I think I mostly built stuff on this side. You mostly built stuff on this side.
Yeah. I think here. This is making annealed copper. We've got coal coke to make silicon dust. This is P-doped and M-doped silicon plates, which have been a massive pain in the ass the entire time. And then this is platinum processing.
Yeah. And I'll just go step right outside to look at the nuke stack.
So we've got some nuclear reactors here. The first two are just for steam, and the third one is set up to use LE-MOX to make deuterium for the fusion reactor. Anyways, you're saying?
Yeah. I never touched any of the nuclear power generation, so I don't really know how it works. But like, yeah, because you mostly handled this stuff.
It's pretty simple. It's like a furnace. You put uranium in there, and it gets hot, and then it boils the water, just like in real life.
Oh yeah. Let's see. Next, we'll step right over right here. So these are. This was more stuff for Spectrum. This is just an array here of formation planes and annihilation planes. Then they're right up against some failing. Failing is a block from Spectrum that can corrupt other blocks into more of itself. And then when it corrupts Obsidian, it turns into a block that drops Neolith. And Neolith is useful for many things. And then up here there's the same design but with fading. Fading is the same thing but with leaves, which turns into vegetal. And then up here is just, I believe this is just this bomb grinder is to make blaze powder, because we need it for blaze rods to make blaze powder to make Eyes of Ender. And then this is just making more obsidian to feed the Neolith farm. And up here in the top level is the Spirit Instiller, because the Spirit Instiller uses Neolith from the farm down there, and charged Certus Quartz to make flawless budding Certus Quartz, which then I just use to put into these crystal growth chambers over here to make infinite amounts of Certus Quartz crystals.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then this section of the factory was this was a shrunk down version of the AE2 core in the other
This
building.
is once again another solution. Yeah, it's another solution to the network boot time. We have another one of these somewhere. I think it's over.
It's
in
up
that
there in
shed
this shed. Yeah.
I think we are planning on playing Monofactory next, and the goal is going to be to not have large cores like this. I think it seems like it works differently on Forge, but we'll have to see.
Yeah. Yeah. This is just a shrunk down. It's just like 1/4 of the big core, because it's just a single 3x3 as opposed to 8 3x3s. Yeah. Let's see. I guess we can go down this one, because this is just farming stacks, farming every single possible crop that can be farmed with the photosynthetic chambers, and it's double layered. I guess let's see. What do we want? Which platform do you want to do from here? Because we've got a couple options right around.
I don't know. Well, because I guess behind us we just have the let's see, heat exchanger stack, which is was honestly near the end just barely enough heat exchanger. And we've also got more cryofluid stuff down here. But this is your stuff here. I think it's making.
Yeah, this is turning nuggets of experience into liquid experience. You can generally tell if I built a platform or if he built a platform based on if it follows the rules I use for the platforms, because basically, for most things, there's a 6-block headroom above the tallest machine on a platform to give me enough room to do cabling underneath it without interfering with the stuff below it. So these ones, as you can see, that were built by him because they do not, and then the one at the top here was because it does. It was built by me because it does follow it.
Yep. And then, in here we've got just a couple stacks of pressurizers, taking in some liquid air and then feeding them into these upgraded centrifuges.
Yeah. I guess let's step back here to finish up this face of this edge of the factory. This is the what is it called?
The
Quasi-quantum singularity forge.
quantum something like that. You really only need to use it like 2 or 3 times
If
because
yeah,
you quickly unlock a replicator right after.
yeah, like if you were doing
Making it.
if you're doing replicator lists, you would need a million of these things, I bet. But I don't even know how you
Something like
do
that.
wall sharing. Can you wall share like these faces?
I mean, you could totally wall share this. It would be this face back here, yeah.
Yeah. And I guess beneath this, so this platform here is where I set up a thing to produce basically every single kind of food that can be produced by Create stuff in the pack, just for fun. And of course they're required, this is the milking machine. It milks cows and puts them into this, and puts the milk into this bucket. This is a bunch of mixers that, because a lot of the Create foods are made by mixing. This one's a slicer, which is because a lot of foods are made by slicing. Pressure, mechanical press for the same things. Spouts filled with milk, chocolate, honey, and builder's tea because you need those to make some specific things. For instance, this thing you makes 2 items. You can make cakes and sweet rolls. Back here, this is what takes the cocoa beans and the sugar and makes chocolate. This takes honey bottles into honey blocks, which then, honey bottles into honey blocks into liquid honey, which is stored here, and this makes builder's tea here. Then upper here is just a bee farm. That's just a simple create fed, and then AE2 system pulls that out. And this platform sort of have an L curve to it. So right here is, I think they look like trees, but they're farming the 2 mushrooms from the Nether. And then up here is tree farms. It's farming every single Twilight Forest sapling, because Twilight Forest is in this mod pack for some reason. You have no reason to ever step foot in the Twilight Forest, but it's there if you want it. Then the next level down is, oh wait, I forgot this one. This is just a big platform filled with machine stacks. It's just a bunch of spires of ME interfaces feeding into various machines around it. This is all, it's each spire is one full or one almost full P2P face, and it's just handling various processes that needed a lot of stuff, and then that I didn't feel like sending, that needed more than one machine, that I didn't care if it kept overclock on, because it was such a high, for instance, we have such a high volume of chromium hydrochloric solution that it made more sense to just build a big stack of them, and then they're all fed by wireless block chargers. So there's bone meal, or no, nutrient-rich blood using bone meal, and then bone meal is made over here, I think. No, somewhere else in here. Yeah, here. And then some of these have... Go on.
I was gonna say our philosophies on factory construction kind of conflicted a lot. Seems to like these sort of large machine stacks, whereas I generally prefer having a couple of machines that are very heavily overclocked.
Yeah. Well, that just made, having a large machine stack made more sense to me, as just because I mostly come from Factorio, so I'm used to just no building, like overbuilding. But obviously overclocking isn't a thing in Factorio, so it's less of a concern. Let's see, I think, and then this big tower here is just in the center. There is a In the center there is a crystal apothecary, which is a spectrum block that will automatically collect, fully grown clusters off of geodes. So I just went out, collected a bunch of budding blocks of each type of crystal from spectrum, and then just put them in here, and they're all managed by AE2. And then these are obviously concrete, and then this is built out of castle bricks from Twilight Forest, because it has been like 10 years and they have yet to finish the final castle from Twilight Forest. All right, and then on the lowest level of this platform is just I believe this is
I
ore processing. Yeah,
believe our final ore processing setup. Yeah.
yeah. So it's just a bunch of stacks of various. I think I made a big document of like each step of various ores. So like some just needed maceration, whereas some required,
Others need to be double macerated.
yeah, some needed double maceration, some needed double maceration into electrolyzer. This one required macerator into a centrifuge. This one required EBFs because this is for tungsten, I think. No, yes, no, titanium.
Titanium.
Yeah, uh, single maceration again. Except I think this does slightly different. Oh yeah, this is for the moon cheese ore. More things over here. This is for penderite and emeraldite, which can only be processed via bulk blasting. This is for what is it? Anthracite coal ore, which is a biomes you go ore. All three of these were biomes you go ore, because biomes you go is a very funny mod that has very poor compatibility with some areas. Then that's all powered by two create boilers over here, and these power the create stuff up above too. Let's see. I believe. Oh yeah, do you want to cover your nuclear shed here?
Oh yeah. All right. So this is where this is where I first experimented with nuclear power and also with some visualizations. This is like the first prototype of the Grafana dashboards. Uh, Nothing super interesting other than we are processing heavy water. Then we do that to make some tritium. Although a lot more made in the or a lot more is made in the fusion reactors now.
Yeah. Then this next platform over is various. I think this is biodiesel production, and then this got built off the back of it, which is I think this Nether Star production.
Uh, this is another star production and tungsten steel production.
Oh yeah.
This is where we're making liquid nether star, and then there's a EBF right here that's turned superconductor dust into nether stars.
Yeah. And this platform over is more
Oh wait,
biodiesel production. This is just for the preceding steps of biodiesel production from I don't even remember anymore. I built this forever ago. Sulfuric naphtha into steam cracked naphtha into
a lot of this
ethylene.
was to get ethylene and stuff to make ethanol with for the biodiesel. I
Yeah,
think at a certain point we thought we were going to switch over to diesel for our power production, but we decided against
yeah,
it.
yeah. And I think oh yes,
I think it though.
no, there's this building here, this big blackstone one. Yeah,
Oh,
because
right.
this is the array.
Blackstone, you mean the guys buying up all
Yeah, man, those
my
guys.
houses?
Yeah, they bought this. They sponsored this platform.
Sorry, you were saying.
Yeah, they're the private. Yeah, BlackRock private equity sponsored this building, obviously, which is why I made out of Blackstone. So yeah, so this is a big EBF array of stainless steel. This is producing mob models for the mob grinders over on that platform. This is some single-use vacuum freezers. This one's for ice, and this one's for something I don't remember. Yeah, I don't remember. I'm sure I needed it at the time. And then this is more cryo fluid, and I think aluminum is on the other side. I don't remember anymore. Built this forever ago. Then this building over here is more biodiesel large chemical reactors. I just enclosed it in this HVAC looking building. And the next floor up is a strider pen because you can turn striders into food. A big room of machine stacks for circuit production because we needed a million circuits for some process or another. I'm sure it's important. So this is every step of those, just laser engraving every single thing, making
Oh, that's the
silicone
AE2
dust.
circuits. Yeah,
Yeah, the A2 circuits, yeah.
we needed a ton of those for upgrades, busts and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, because we used to be doing it via AE2 auto crafting, and that was very slow. So we
Oh, that
switched.
the thing with this pack is that each tier of item requires exponentially more items. So as you progress the pack, and we ran into this super early, but it will take like literal like minutes to hours to autocraft stuff because one, everything starts out super slow when it's like first building overclock, and two, you need a fuck ton of items for everything. Uh, so having a passively controlled factory is just a lot faster.
Yeah.
Another thing that's a kind of a big deal with uh, what is it with modern industrialization is voltage tiers. So every like tier of cable can transfer a certain amount of EU per tick. For example, EV can transfer 65,000 EU per tick. Um, so you need to make sure that your cables don't ever like aren't ever getting pulled more than that amount into your factory. So
Yeah.
that's why we have these turbines everywhere because we're producing power where it's needed.
Yeah. Yeah. Though initially the idea with this platform was that it would be served by wireless things, and it was for all this stuff, and then this got added afterwards. And then before we got creative flight via quantum chest plates, we used to use gravit chest plates, and so we needed wireless player chargers to charge them as we were flying. Let's see. The
Yeah,
next floor up, this is just a big arrays of electric blast furnaces for just, damn near
I'm pretty sure
everything.
silicone and uh, what is it? Silicone and
Silicon and what's quartz dust and
oh, with it,
coke dust made into it?
uh,
What is it?
silicon dust.
Oh yeah, silicon dust. Yeah,
Silicon dust.
yeah, yeah. Silicon and aluminum dust. I don't remember. I don't know why this one is on a slightly different thing.
And I
But
guess last
oh, you
we
stole one of these for Ellie Mox.
just
Okay.
have the room where the pack ended.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
this is just the end of the pack in this room here because this is I even built another AE2 core for it, and I don't think I really needed to. Yes.
Yeah. So what I didn't realize was that as soon as you unlock the replicator, the game is over because like you can turn UU matter into any other item in the game, and you can get infinite UU matter by putting it into one of the creative tanks that you can make.
Yeah.
So right now we're just to have a creative tank of infinite UU matter feeding the replicators,
Yeah.
making stuff.
Yeah, I used it to replicate enchanted books because I enchanted my armor with the stuff my old armor had. Because I didn't feel I could that way because I need 4 of some of the protection of the enchantments. So I just made it via replicator. Um,
The replicator is honestly a little bittersweet because it's like your entire factory becomes basically useless the second you unlock it, but also it's kind of a nice power trip.
yeah, I think I think
Then over here, this is producing deuterium for the fusion reactors.
wait, couldn't you make deuterium via
It's
creative
just
tank?
centrifuging hydrogen. You could, but this was before that.
Oh yeah. And then way down here, this platform was initially powered by plasma turbines, but then you get the creative. This is just infinite battery.
Just infinite battery, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So
And it's not like our entire platform uses more than the 1 billion EU per tick the superconductor cable provides. So.
Oh, but what if? What if, man?
Yeah, so I think that's it for our factory.
Yeah, I think that's the end. I do. Yeah, I guess let's go sit on top of this this building over here, the big dome. And oh wait, we did miss one thing. We missed this platform here. This is the core drill.
Oh yeah, the core trail. So this is what we use to make core fragments, which are then like with a bunch of other stuff turned into ultra dense matter balls, which then get turned into the singularities at like the 2 or 3 times you need to do that before you get a replicator.
Yeah.
And then this is also we're thinking about using interdimensional SUs to transfer power wirelessly, but they only can transfer up to 8,000 per tick per SU, which was definitely not enough for the what I thought we were going to be doing with the fusion reactor.
Yeah. And there's one more platform over here. This is just heat exchangers, I think, for cooling for high pressure water and steam. I think one of these does something else. I don't remember. And then this is for processing manganese.
One of them should be for heavy water.
Yeah. And then this is making sulfuric acid, and this is making sulfuric manganese solution, which we still have 14 million of somehow. 14 million buckets. I think that is everything in the factory. So I guess, do you have any thoughts about the pack and its design and such?
I love it. I can't wait to play Factory and try real break tech.
Oh God.
I You sort of get locked in on the factory like nothing else. It's pretty nice.
Yeah. I kind
The
of
specifically the sort of inertia efficiency based mechanics with the overclock.
yeah.
As you were saying.
So I think this pack includes Spectrum, and Spectrum is a cool mod. I think I've played it twice at different phases in its development. I think it's nearing the end. It's like got to the end game of its development, and it's a very cool mod. But it feels very weird the way it's integrated into the game, because you really only technically need to use Spectrum once if you're doing in the automation part of the pack, and that's when you make flawless budding Certus quartz. And I kind of wish they integrated more of the magic rituals from Spectrum into the automation chain, because otherwise most of the automation is you're doing one of two things. You're building a multi-block, or you're building like a one block machine stack like this. Like automation really only looks one of two ways with modern industrialization. Whereas when I was building this automated spirit instiller here for flawless budding Certus quartz, or using A2 to automate neolith production, that was cool and it was novel and it looked different. And that I feel similar about the building this this quad bulk setup over here. Because otherwise there's a lot of just you do the same sort of thing but change the recipes around for the modern industrialization machines.
I guess a lot of the fun that comes from me for that is with the upgrades and the overclock. It's about tuning it so that it's kind of all balanced and working perfectly, versus throwing a bunch of throwing a bunch of machines at the problem and then getting mad when something further down the chain is getting consumed excessively.
Yeah, I just kind of wish that if they were going to include the Spectrum mod, they would do more with it, because Spectrum is really cool. Like, and there's even a whole new dimension it adds. Yeah, same with Twilight Forest. I kind of wish Twilight Forest had more to do in the pack, because once we got into the late game, or hell, once we got into like MV, the really only big thing that I used Spectrum for was this Glass Crest work staff here, which is basically every single tool in one, plus you can change it into a 3x3 or a 5x5 mining tool, as well as ranged mining, and you can change between 3 different enchantments. So it's very useful for building, and also some of the enchantments from Spectrum are very useful, like inventory insertion, where you can break something and it goes right into your inventory, or raising and inexorable, which makes you mine faster the harder the block is. Yeah. So and also soulbound. Soulbound is very useful for if you die, which we did very little of once we got into the void world because nothing spawns here. Which I don't know. The void world is kind of a blessing and a curse.
Permanently day.
Yeah, the void world is kind of a blessing and a curse because it's permanently day, nothing spawns here, but also if you have shaders, the factory always looks the same.
It also just it also sort of clamps your building style down to platform base, which we basically is what we've done.
Yeah. Short of like building and terraforming your own like landscape, you really just build a platform and that's it. I think this looks cool, but there's only so many ways to do it. That's part of why I tried to vary up the thing with some of the building shells by making them look a little different and adding a little bit of flair in various spots.
So the next pack we plan on tackling is Monofactory. But this was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed running through modern industrialization.
Yeah, don't get me wrong, I had fun. It's just that I do have my critiques, somewhat. Yeah. So how do you feel this compares to packs like? Because what are the other ones we've done? So this is the third one we've done. We did.
So we've played
yeah,
Create Above and Beyond.
We did Cabin,
which
and then before that we did what was it called? Big Chad Guys plus Cobblemon, I think.
Yeah, something like that. That was mostly you though.
Yeah.
Building the factory there.
Yeah, that was
in Cabin. I found that we tried to use Create as little as possible.
Yeah.
But that's just because we needed, as we got to the end, we needed very high throughput, and Create just was not holding up.
Yeah. I think we never did record the factory tour for that one, but that was because whatever reason the server was lagging, the world was lagging to death.
Yeah.
Which is a shame because I was really proud of my build in that one. It was a big cathedral. So how would you feel? I don't know. Was there anything Cabin did better, or is there anything you liked about Cabin that wasn't present for this, or is there anything about this that you wish was present in Cabin?
Honestly, overclock. That's like the one thing I like the most. I wish that the non-create stuff had overclock. Because I like that the factory takes time to build up speed whenever something runs out, and then you have to plan ahead for it.
Yeah.
It means that the whole thing kind of works on curves rather than sort of immediately turning off and on like Cabin did.
Yeah.
It stuff in Cabin worked up the chain very, very quickly.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, something I liked about Cabin. I think I kind of touched on this was what I talked about, like what I wish Spectrum was better utilized in this mod. Cabin had a lot of all the processes looked very different. Like there's there's something where you threw something into a beacon. There was another thing where you hit something with a laser. There was and obviously create machines can look very very different because create is block based, building based as opposed to one block based or multi-block based. So it's ups and downs. But obviously the downside of the create is that it's a performance hog and will make your computer shit itself to death if you're not careful. And it's also if you rebuild something it's much easier to upgrade in this pack than it is with create, because obviously it's just one machine. You just throw upgrades into it and then you go about your day.
In Cabin, we sort of had to tear down, rebuild the factory multiple times.
Yeah, I think it was 5 times we tore down the main factory floor. Oh right, wait, did we cover this platform?
Basically, every time we progressed a chapter.
Yeah. Oh, I think we got this platform. This is just tungsten steel, just a big EDF array of tungsten steel. Okay, I think
All right, so I think that's it then.
now, yeah, I think now that is everything in the factory. I'm gonna do one last fly around. Uh, let's see. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, that's everything. I don't think I have anything else left to say about the factory or its design because I didn't spend as much time building as I did in cabin or in Big Chad Guys. I think.
Yeah. Surprisingly, even though there was a lot more processing time, we almost had less downtime than we did in cabin.
Yeah.
Well,
I just
there's a lot more processing time, but we had less downtime because we had
yeah.
to build a lot of stuff.
Yeah. There was also just a lot of like, even once you got something running, you were running around fixing bottlenecks further down the chain, and then
Yeah,
waiting and
because it
watching the graph.
white boys love graphs.
Bro loves to monitor the situation.
Oh God.
All right.
So I guess we'll probably be back in like 6 months with the Modifactory tour, I guess.
Shit. I guess. Bye. Oh wait. But yeah, by the end of the pack gives you the creative world shaper. By the time you get it, you don't need it. That's it. Bye.